It has been an up and down year for Houston Heat, a team who had high hopes coming into 2014. Their best performance was in Chicago, where Ryan Moorhead was on fire in the Snake and the team as a whole was back in top form. Though they did take second at that event's Impact, it looked like a team that could win a PSP tournament. But other than that second place performance, Houston Heat hasn't been able to put enough wins on the board in the prelims to threaten in the Champions Division, and spent a tournament in the Challengers Division after the slow start in Dallas at the beginning of the year. They were able to beat San Diego Dynasty at the last event in a relegation match, knocking the 2013 Series champs down into the Challengers Division. With the star-studded roster that Heat fields, they very well could elevate their game at the hardest event of the year. Sam Monville and Greg Sewers are the team's highest-ranked players. John Woodley and Chad George have proven themselves as high-level competitors, and the rest of the roster is stacked with veterans. But Heat needs more consistency, more players stepping up at the same time.
Here we go. So get right into this match here. Houston Heat versus Moscow Red Legion. Welcome back. Houston Heat, Moscow Red Legion, 1943 here. Just getting going in point number 1. And in the Snake, Moscow getting taken out. 2 players in there for Houston Heat. Both these teams lost their first matchups. Houston Heat got taken down 7-3 to Art Chaos. And Moscow Red Legion lost a big one to X Factor 7-1. Right now, Houston Heat in the driver's seat on the Snake side. Thomas Taylor getting it done, and looks like he might be able to get that last kill.
He is just going to work over here.
Yeah, this is a really big game for these two teams. Neither one of these teams want to start out their World Cup going 0-2.
Oh, Thomas Taylor going to sleep on that last guy in the corner, though, guys.
Yeah, and it looks like Chad George might have too. So, you know, you got to count the bodies and finish strong here. So Chad George and Thomas Taylor both getting caught. So now it's a 2-on-1 situation. Greg Sewers, Ronnie Dizon. I'm sorry, no, John Woodley and Ronnie Dizon left alive.
Yeah, Thomas Taylor doing the fist pump after, you know, having a stellar game right there. But going to sleep, Maddie, like you said, and just getting smoked down. Wow.
Yeah, well, real good first point for Houston Heat. You know, attack the Snake is definitely the mantra of the day. If you're not attacking the Snake and executing over there, and you can't just attack and get shot. I mean, you have to, obviously, you've been following through on your plans, but it's definitely about overwhelming presence in the Snake, and but that's just step one, because we've definitely seen points turned around on that D side as well, and ultimately, this is also a read and react, you know, win gunfights field, because you're going to get in those spots, and we've definitely seen some teams drop the ball in the gunfights. So let's check out the game matchup. It's a close matchup here between, you know, two teams that, now the thing with Red Legion is that they made the semis at the last event, and Houston Heat had to play in a relegation game at the last event. So Red Legion doing much better in event number 4. We were in California, and now that we're at World Cup, man, so it's really, this is a tough game to call between these two teams. Heat didn't have the best event at the West Coast Open, but they did defeat Dynasty in the relegation game to stay in the Champions Division. They've also taken second place at the Chicago Open, which was also a pretty aggressive field. So, you know, just Heat looking really good there in that first point, Todd. So if they can just keep this momentum going, it's going to be up to Moscow Red Legion to, you know, counterattack over here and try to get their own ball rolling on the Snake side.
Yeah, we saw them try and, you know, switch it up a little bit, go up to that center. Kirill Peridny just got cyclopsed right in the middle of his face, running up there, threw away that body kind of early, didn't get anything out of it. And that allowed Houston Heat to come straight up into the Snake right away, and Thomas Taylor took full advantage of not having anybody in there with him. Got all the way down to the other side, started going to work, and then just lost track of that last body and got shot up. But, you know, Houston Heat, they got great players all around this team. You know, it's only a matter of time if, if they can get on a roll, try and figure some things out, you know, try and build a lead in this game. But Moscow Red Legion, you know, they're usually pretty good at, you know, adapting, changing up their game plans. But this field's going to come down to gun battles, shooting people on the break, and then, you know, finishing those close games as Legion loses a body on the break. He comes running out. Thomas Taylor gets shot on the break along with Ronnie Dizon. So there goes Greg Sears as well. Just 2 bodies left alive.
The referee getting there to check out Chad George, and that's going to be a minor penalty on Chad George. So this could be a quick one here. Looks like it's going to be for Moscow Red Legion, as no bodies left alive. Guys on the Snake side haven't figured that out yet, though.
So 3 bodies go down on the break. Chad George gets a minor penalty. There goes 5 quick bodies for Houston Heat.
Yeah, so real fast point to get Moscow a point on the board to tie it up. 17:57 to go. And Denis Golev, 3 confirmed kills for him already here in this game. Let's check out this replay. So there's Chad George sliding into the insert bunker snake side. And I can't tell from this angle, but must have caught one on that side because the referee in there seeing Chad shoot his gun. And if you take a hit and shoot your gun, and it's an unobvious hit, then it's going to be a minor. If it's an obvious hit, it's going to be a major. So there's going to be 46 seconds left. Let's check in with the ref update, see exactly what that penalty was.
It's a minor penalty on number 57, playing on unobvious hit.
Yeah, so it was an unobvious hit. Must have been on his pack. So drawing that minor penalty. And actually, I'm sorry, that penalty will come off the board. Minor penalties, you lose the point, they come off. So there's Houston Heat spilling out for this next one. And speaking of Houston, this game brought to you by Pro Edge Paintball, John Jackson store. Down in that area, man, they have, if you're a supporter of paintball, you live in the Texas area, definitely want to support Pro Edge Paintball. So there's Big Jason Trozen, coach, former pro player himself, and definitely has a lot of history with the guys that are on this team and did a real good job of guiding them through the first 2 years. And the first 2 years that Houston Heat was in existence, they won 4 tournaments out of 10, which is a completely ridiculous record.
Here's a little trivia question, LaSoya. What was the original X-Ball team that Jason Trojan played on?
Detroit Thunder.
Correct.
Yep, and he was a beast. He was one of those people that would tear you in half. He was a good paintball player, great back player.
Great gunfighter.
It's easy when you're shooting 9 million balls a second. God, when we first started,
yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah, so here we go. 3 seconds before the start of this next point. Houston Heat will be on your right, Moscow Red Legion on your left. This game is all tied at 1. On the breakout, good breakout for Houston Heat, it looks like. And no, they might have lost a body on the D side. No, it looks like he's clean. No, they did lose a body over there. So it looks like, I think that was Greg Sewers is coming off. And now Moscow losing a body of their own, but this time on the snake side. So the snake completely open. Neither team has any ground on that side of the field. And you're looking at Heat trying to position to get into the snake. And there's Chad George. He makes his move. And he's going to go right past Snake 1 into Snake 2.
On into the 50 Dorito, Moscow Red Legion. Chad George recognized that. Kirill feeling the pressure in that tall cake over here on the snake side, the only body left.
You can see on the top portion of your screen, there's the 50-yard line Dorito, which is hot. Looking over the shoulder there, Moscow Red Legion side of the field. But really strong position for Houston Heat. Over here, snake side with Chad George and Ryan Moorhead.
And another body dives into that 50 Dorito. Chad George should be able to get a shot in on him as well. He doesn't know that that Red Legion player went in there, but Chad George is going to stand up and own Kirill. And here comes Ryan Moorhead. He's going to be able to race across the field and bunker out that last Red Legion player.
So beautiful job by Chad George and Ryan Moorhead over here, snake side for Houston Heat. With 4 bodies alive, they score that one, so solid work. They will go up 1 now, make the score 2-1 if that hang is clean. And also don't go anywhere, the last game of the morning bracket is going to be Art Chaos taking on the Ironman. Those teams have played each other twice already this year, and with to a 1-on-1 record. So both those teams with a win against each other this season. Art Chaos won the last event though, and the Ironman looked amazing against X Factor. So our Chaos looks really good, and Ironman look really good too. So that's going to be a battle of 2 favorites here at this event. But right now, Houston Heat, 1-point advantage up over Moscow Red Legion with 16:05 to go. We'll be right back after this.
Yeah, it really does.
Looking at Houston Heat spilling out to play this next point. There's Keith DeVitt, who we haven't seen get any spins yet, I believe. Have you seen Keith DeVitt out there yet, Todd? Your boy?
Keith DeVitt. Nope, haven't seen Keith DeVitt yet.
So normally plays on the Dorito side, on that D side. So on the field right now for Houston Heat, Chad George, Chad Boucher.
I have not seen my man Nick Slowiak either.
Yeah, Tim Montresor, Ryan Moorhead, and Sam Monville getting the start for this next point. Moscow Red Legion has Kabalnovich, Kuchgaskev, Golev, Vulot, and Kevin Klum. Down by 1, Moscow Red Legion trying to get into the snake, and they do off the break. So 5 bodies alive for both teams right now.
You know, Chad George on the top side of your screen going to try and dip into the snake. He does. Going heads up ball. You saw his legs come out, backed up there in the corner. Also followed up by Ryan Moorhead.
Well, Loic Vulot taking one for Moscow. So now just 4 players left alive. They're still attacking on the D side.
Oh, and Red Legion going to get a minor penalty for playing on. They're going to lose their entire Dorito side. Just 2 bodies left alive for them now in Snake 2 and the Snake side corner as Houston Heat goes charging down the Dorito side up into that Dorito 2. And then they also have bodies over here. Montresor, Moorhead, and Chad George here in the Snake 2. Chad George going to creep up, make 2 bumps, thinking about 3. Going to stop at the 50, get his gun up down the wire. And there goes Kevin Kuhlm out of the Snake side corner. Just 1 body left alive. Here comes Chad George.
Oh, just going to put it on him. Hello, doctor.
Yeah, so nice work by Chad George, Ryan Moorhead over here, Snake side, along with Tim Montresor and Sam Monville, who are left alive as well. So 6 confirmed kills here early on in this match for Chad George. Looking real solid for Houston Heat. Though with 14:40 left to go, looks like the hang is clean. So that score is going to be 3-1 here. Minor penalty will come off from Moscow Red Legion. Let's check out this replay. So you're looking in the snake, and there's Chad George. His methodical push forward up in the notches, but then makes that rundown. And you can see there the launch from Chad George. So let's check in with the referee here and see exactly what that penalty was on.
It's a minor penalty, number 29, playing on, unobvious hit for Red Legion.
So another unobvious hit, seen a decent amount of those today. Also a little bit of information coming from one of the other interesting stories, and there's a ton of them here at the PSP World Cup, is how is Dynasty going to do down in the Challengers Division? Dynasty has been struggling since Saturday of Chicago. Had not won a game in the PSP since Saturday's competition all the way back in Chicago. Beginning of the year, they dominated, they did amazing, but they just came out and pummeled Top Gun Union, who pummeled Excessive earlier 7-3, and that score was 7-0. So Dynasty started off right for their first game in a demolition of Top Gun Union. Let's check in with Lauren Kelly.
Hey guys, I am standing here in Heat's pit with Chad Boucher. They are up 2 points against the Russians right now. Now, when you came off the field, I saw you and Sam kind of talking strategy. What were you guys talking about in the pit?
Honestly, it wasn't really strategy. It was him telling me to slow the hell down and, hey, don't battle out of your corner so much. Just because we're on the outside of him doesn't mean we have to battle. And, I got shot like an idiot, and he was just letting me know, hey, I need you alive more than I need you dead. So he said, hey, don't get shot like that. So I said, all right, that's fine.
All right, well, thank you so much. We'll see if he can keep this lead or if Russians can get a point on the board.
And Maddie, you asked for it, you get it. Nick Slowiak,
I was
Keith
just gonna say the same thing. Keith DeVitt, Nick Slowiak getting a spin for Heat. They are up by 2 right now against Moscow Red Legion. Also on the field for Heat, Woodley and Thomas Taylor. Greg Sewers. Moscow losing a body on this snake side attack. Might be losing 2, they do. So right now, Thomas Taylor in the driver's seat in the snake past the 50-yard line. And backing him up is Nick Slowiak.
Yeah, Greg Sewers got over there into the Dorito 1 and went to town on the snake side of Moscow Red Legion. That allowed Thomas Taylor to come across, go past the 50 snake, and now he's looking at, I think, just 2 bodies left alive, split in the corners for Moscow Red Legion.
Well, they have a player in the 50 Dorito as well, too, and that guy ran diving through Thomas Taylor's stream of paint. Thomas was shooting at him, the guy just ran right through it. And so Thomas is now bettering his position here in the snake. Another notch up. And got a back player right behind him. John Woodley.
Nice eye in the sky right there. You can see Thomas Taylor on the bottom right-hand side of your screen shooting across the field, backed up by Woodley and taking the far side 50 Dorito.
Yeah, they
Greg Sears.
Well, and Chris, they finally got that kill out of that 50-yard line Dorito bunker. So now still 5 players for Houston Heat trying to press their advantage. 1 player left alive for Moscow Red Legion. Back corner bunker on the D side of the field. And he is going to get tapped out. So masterful point by Houston Heat. Pitching a shutout on that one. 5 players left alive for them. Sloviak, Woodley, Taylor, DeVitt, and Sewers going to put yet another point on the board for them. That's going to send the score to 4-1 with 13:09 to play.
You know, an update on the other side of the field. We got Infamous taking on Excessive on the Challengers division on the other field over there. It looks like it's going to be 4-4 with 6 minutes and 40 seconds left in that game. So Excessive giving Infamous a run for their money.
Yeah, well, Excessive had a pretty bad game against Top Gun Union. Penalty-filled match for them, made some mental mistakes. Infamous, that's their second match, and they beat up on CEP as we saw it. So let's check out a replay here from that awesome last point from Houston Heat. Split screen breakout here. So looks like very good crossfield spread from both teams. Both teams sitting a body out wide, but you watch the Houston Heat was able to beat Moscow Red Legion out to that corner bunker. And that's kind of important because if you can make it out there first, you're the first guy to wrap. Because if you make it there second, if you get there before your opposition, when your opposition gets there, he's looking right into a stream as soon as he comes out for his first head check. And what that is going to do is you saw Thomas Taylor able to glide into the snake off that, Todd. And that's one of those plays that, that's why speed out to the corner is so crucial.
Yeah, and you said that earlier, Todd. Running and gunning out there is not an option, really, because you see a lot of players getting shot going out there in the break.
I would say it depends on how good you are at running and gunning, because some guys are much better at it than others. Some guys couldn't hit the broadside of a barn
That's me.
on their run out to the back corner bunker, and some guys are just flinging laser beams, sniper shots right back in your face, and forcing you to head check then and deal with that stream of paint. But that's why you do drills.
That is why you do drills.
Talking about practice.
We'll work on that.
There's Thomas Taylor talking to Big Jason Trozen. So Thomas has had some solid points, made a few mental mistakes out there, got shot off the break a little bit, but definitely doing his work over there in some spins that he's gotten. But that is the luxury that Heat has. Heat has a lot of guys that can play the one on the snake side. We saw Ryan Moorhead play amazing as the one in the snake in Chicago. And this type of snake is, that's how Thomas Taylor started his career, playing for the Ironman, dominating people in ladder snakes, and then playing for Excessive for like 10 years. So with 13:09 to go, 4-1 is the score. We're going to be right back. Can Moscow Red Legion get back in this match? We're back, taking a look at Houston Heat's lineup that they send out for this next point. Pretty close to the lineup they sent out the last point. They got DeVitt back out there, Sloviak, Thomas Taylor, Woodley, throwing Dizon out for this one. Moscow Red Legion, who had called a timeout. It's a smart timeout. Try to slow the roll. Houston Heat, they got Skvonovich, Golev, Kuchigaskev, Smotrov, and Peridny. So on the split screen breakout, Moscow Red Legion left-hand side, Houston Heat right-hand side. Moscow trying to get out, corner bunker, and they make it out there, but Houston Heat loses Woodley, who tries to do the same thing. They double up, Houston Heat doubling up that inside Dorito, and trying to shoot those guns out wide to catch Moscow Red Legion, which they do. Moscow losing their first attacker over here, Snake side.
And there goes Nick Slowiak also taking the walk. He was in the bunker with Thomas Taylor right there. Look for Thomas Taylor to dip out here a little bit, try and get outside.
Yeah, Thomas Taylor's dealing with that corner player right now. That's going to let Kirill Peridny come up in the middle a little bit, try and put the squeeze in. And Thomas Taylor, he's going to take the walk. Here comes Moscow Red Legion down the Snake side. And it's going to be real tough for Keith DeVitt over there and Ronnie Dizon. As Keith DeVitt just takes one in the goggles. He's going to come off.
That's going to do it.
So nice work, Moscow Red Legion, 4 bodies alive on this point win right here, which will take the point spread to 2. Score will be 4-2 with 12 minutes and 13 seconds to go.
So, Moscow Red Legion is continuing to fight, try and stay in this game. Wouldn't be surprised, you know, that's one of those points where you're trying to get your bench going, you know, get your other guys into the game, get them involved in case you need them later. You know, getting Slowiak and Keith DeVitt. Ronnie Dizon actually played pretty well the first couple of games, but Houston Heat going to come back with their power lineup right after this break.
In 2006, Raza Design set out to create a new standard for custom paintball jerseys. No longer were a player's options limited to just blue, red, or yellow. Raza redefined art in paintball. Raza brought people a freedom of expression, options, and personality. Since 2008, Raza Design has been producing the most professionally created, performance-minded, design-enhanced, art-forward jerseys to play in. Whether you are a weekend warrior or a committed professional, everyone is welcome to enjoy our products.
So welcome back here, 2014 PSP World Cup, most important tournament of the year. And these two teams right now fighting hard. Moscow Red Legion slowly but surely getting back in, and on that last one, still lots of time left. Heat up by 2. Looking at Houston Heat on your screen. And on the breakout, 3 towards the Snake side, 2 towards the Dorito side. Looks like Chad George gets picked off, though, trying to get into Snake 1. 4 bodies left alive for Houston Heat.
And here comes Strong down the Snake side. They like that center Aztec on your left-hand side of your screen, shutting down the Snake side for the dips out.
Montresor able to get out there to the corner, playing with Ryan Moorhead. Montresor fighting down the wire. And here comes Kirill in through the center of the field onto, oh, it looks like he almost stuck one in on Ryan Moorhead. Kirill is on Heat's side of the field. Here comes Moorhead back out again. He's going to try and get a shot on Kirill. Is he able to get one? Referee going to run in there and give him a check.
Here comes a minor penalty on Kirill.
Well, that is not what Moscow Red Legion fans wanted to happen. 2 bodies come off for that. They still have good field position, though. 50-yard line on the D side is occupied by Moscow Red Legion. Ryan Moorhead into Snake 1. He has a back player as Tim Montressa right behind him. So 4 bodies alive for Houston Heat. Looking good here. And another body comes off from Moscow Red Legion D side. So it's just Kushigaskev left in the Snake. It's not looking good for him in this point.
Good job by Ryan Moorhead trading out for the last player. And here comes Chad Boucher running in the flag to take it to a 5-2 game if the flag hangs clean, Matty.
Yeah, you know, it's frustrating. Moscow Red Legion was doing the right things until that minor penalty. And you can't give a good team like Houston Heat a gift like that and expect to win the point. It's just making it hard on yourself.
Yeah, I mean, Kirill, you got to get into that position and get those kills. Didn't do it. Looked like he almost got a shot in on Moorhead. Moorhead able to come back in. And then as soon as Kirill tucked in, Moorhead came on the move, shot him in the pack, and that's how Kirill ended up getting that minor penalty on the pack hits.
Well, that was a good move by Ryan Moorhead, noticing what was going on and coming out and making that shot in the middle there, Todd.
Well, let's check in with the referees real quick and see what that penalty was on.
We have a minor number 75, Red Legion, unobvious hit.
Seen a lot more yellow flags here at this tournament than red flags.
Well, I
Did
think
you have a talk with those guys or something? Are we finally getting this thing kind of right-ish, better?
Yeah, I think it's looking good out there.
I've seen some good calls. I mean, I think everything's legit.
Yeah. So with 10:39 to go, 3-point match. Houston Heat 2 points away from victory here against Moscow Red Legion. We'll be right back after this. Looking at Sam Monville, Houston Heat getting ready to play this next one. Moscow Red Legion taking their positions as well. And on this split screen breakout, Red Legion on your right, Heat on your left. 10 minutes, 38 seconds to go, and aggressive breakout, D side for Moscow Red Legion. They take D1, a little bit more conservative for Houston Heat with their lead, not risking any bodies. Now Monville makes his move into D1, but Tim Montresor loses a gunfight, so he's gonna come off early. Here goes Ryan Moorhead. He gets chopped up trying to get in the snake. Move though on the D side by, I believe, Monville to get into the 50-yard line on the D side of the field. But a little bit, definitely better field position for Moscow Red Legion in the snake. Now crawling up, he's gonna have to get some penetration here.
Oh, looks like he got clipped down the field. I think that was
I'm not
from the
exactly
corner.
sure who
That was
picked him
I think
up.
that was from the corner.
Chad Boucher on the wrap.
No, I think that was actually Chad George shooting down the wire.
Okay. So Kirill bails back to the big Dorito on the snake side to try and deal with Sam Monville. And here comes Chad Boucher out of the Dorito side corner. And he's going to try and put the pressure on the snake player. And it looks like Red Legion going to go ahead and blow that horn.
Oh,
So in control of that game, it seemed like, was Moscow Red Legion. Then all of a sudden, Sam Monville burst up that side, got into the 50 Dorito. Kirill stopped his push down that snake side, elected to go back and try and fight across the field. Left his snake eyes over here with no support.
Well, now Houston Heat 1 point away from taking this victory here. Tons of time left, though. 9:35 on the clock should Moscow Red Legion attempt to mount a comeback. But they're going to need to bring more than they've got, or more than they've brought to bear against Houston Heat so far in this match. It's been a really, really solid game here for Houston Heat. They've given a lot of different guys some spins and seen a lot of production out of different members from Houston Heat, which is a really good sign if you're a Heat fan. You know, Heat dropped their first game, didn't look too good against Art Chaos, so this would be a big win for them. Legion, if they lose this one, they go 0-2 on the day. So we're going to be right back with some more of this Heat Red Legion matchup. Stick around.
Hey, John, come in here.
Don't forget, next game coming at you after the conclusion of this matchup. It's going to be Art Chaos taking on the Ironmen. Both of those teams 1-1 today, and both those teams look phenomenal in those matchups. They've also played each other twice this year, and they're 1-1 in those competitions against each other. So don't miss that one. And right now, Houston Heat trying to polish off Moscow Red Legion. Moscow Red Legion losing a body, but Houston Heat does too. And then losing another one. So nobody on the D side right now for Houston Heat, as Chad George dies for Heat as well. So Thomas Taylor and Nick Sloviak by themselves over here. But Thomas Taylor's going to town. Thomas Taylor gets one. Might have got another one. Thomas Taylor making this one interesting. Thought for a second that Moscow was going to run away with this one and try to mount a comeback, but Thomas Taylor's like, nope, that's not happening yet. We'll see if Thomas can stay alive in here.
Yeah, right. Legion shot both Heat players on the Dorito side on the break thought they were off to the races. Then Thomas Taylor just started chopping bodies up. Nick Slowiak still alive over here. 50 Dorito for Moscow Red Legion and the big Dorito on the Snake side. Thomas Taylor, if he can bump up one more knuckle, will have a clean shot right on the back of the 50 Dorito. He has one right now. Let's see if he can get it. He's going to pop over the top, elect to go, get a little bit better of a shot. Lean back, and does he get him?
Thomas Taylor on the attack, trying to run down the inside Dorito. He might have got clipped before. Trades out, though. No call from the referee, so good trade out from Thomas Taylor, who did some work there in that point for Houston Heat. Might have saved the day, Todd, in this one.
One-on-one situation. Nick Slowiak.
So Nick Slowiak in this situation. He's got the sideline behind him. He's got a stand-up bunker that he can play. He does not have to go anywhere, as Houston Heat, with 8 minutes left, is up 6-2. Nick Slowiak, very excellent one-on-one player, going heads up with Skobalanovic.
Must-win situation for Moscow Red Legion, down 4 points right now, 6-2 in favor of Houston Heat.
Yeah, Chris, it's up to Skobalanovic right now. This is how you start to make a name for yourself. And Nick Slowiak, we've seen him win some one-on-ones before for Houston Heat. So locked into a snapshot battle. Snapshot battle here. Nick Slowiak going to the right side, right-handed. Skobalanovic loses him, I think. Might have caught him. Oh, no, they're back and forth.
Oh, there it is. There's the shot.
And nice job. I think he got him. So Slowiak is going to own Skobalanovic in the one-on-one. Wow, nice work by Nick Slowiak.
He just worked that kid out.
Yeah, that was a solid.
Him the okey doke. Look left,
Juked him,
go
came
right.
around.
Where'd who
Can't
go?
see me.
Yeah, it was beautiful work by Nick Slowiak, as he's going to take that one-on-one victory and give his team the win. Final score will be 7-2.
So Nick Slowiak and Thomas Taylor right there put in a little bit of overtime for Houston Heat. It's Houston Heat going to finish the day 1-1. Moscow Red Legion going to drop to 0-2.
Yeah, Thomas Taylor and Chad George, the kill count leaders for Houston Heat, 7 and 6 respectively for Taylor and George. Dennis Golub put up some numbers for Moscow Red Legion, but it was all for naught. Didn't get enough support from the rest of the squad here. And Moscow Red Legion struggling today, going 0-2. But Heat redeeming themselves here, going 1-1, which gives them new life. Tomorrow, Heat plays X Factor and the Ironmen, so it's going to be a pretty tough day for Houston Heat tomorrow. X Factor, they went 1-1 today as well, decimated Legion, and then got beat up by the Ironmen. Didn't help themselves with some penalties.
Also updated in the other field, their Infamous ended up taking that win over there against Excessive 7-4. So Infamous with 2 wins now in that Challengers division. Dynasty's taking on CEP right now. But what a good game here with Moscow Red Legion and Houston Heat.
No, Moscow Red Legion flirted with it a little bit, but they just couldn't seal the deal. And unfortunately for Moscow Red Legion fans, it had been such a good year for them, rebuilding their team, bringing the French guys in. They were doing great, but just not performing at the level that they had been performing at the West Coast Open. Moscow Red Legion won 3 preliminary matches at that tournament to make it to the semifinals, but not able to replicate that performance so far, at least on day 1. We are going to have one more game coming at you. See the schedule on your screen. So one more game coming at you here in the morning bracket. It's Art Chaos taking on the Ironman. I can't wait to see this game because to me, these two teams look the best here in this particular bracket. And then we have a short lunch break, and then we'll get to all that afternoon bracket with Impact Damage, Vicious, 187 Crew, and Baltimore Rebel makes their introductory appearance here in the Champions Division. But before we get to this next matchup, let's check in with Lauren Kelly.
Hey guys, I'm down here with Nick Slowiak of Heat. Congratulations, you guys just won that last one, and a lot due to you in that last point during that one-on-one. What was running through your mind? You had the chance to close it out. What was running through your mind during that moment?
Well, so it came down to a 2-on-2 before that, and I watched Thomas, and I decided to stay over him. And I know Thomas always wants to get up and go and get people. So, fortunately for me, he got down there and he pulled off that kill on the guy on the Dorito. And then, as soon as I knew it was a one-on-one, thanks to the help from our lovely ladies up in the stands, I just stayed calm, just chilled out. I can see the clock, so I knew I didn't have to do anything. And with us being up 6-2, whatever score they had, too, I knew just to chill out and wait for him to come to me. And fortunately enough for me, I got to make a move on the inside, and it looked like his gun wasn't working, so that helped out too.
Are there certain strategies or drills that Coach Jason makes you guys run specifically for one-on-ones to make sure that you know the exact tactics to take when you are in that situation?
Generally, we just do them. We'll make sure we face everyone on the team. Every once in a while, our owner, Randy Smith, gets into the mix and tries to make a little competition out of it to get guys motivated. But the best thing you can do is just force yourself to play them. It's one of the most basic drills you can do in any paintball situation. And just keep your head up and your gun up, right? If you don't have your head up and your gun up, you're not going to get those kills and make those moves. And then again, too, it was a great help to have Greg Sewer's dad and Danette Smith and the rest of the ladies up in the stands telling me what was going on. So you're fortunate enough to have a good coach here in the PSP. That helps out a lot. But otherwise, just keep practicing one-on-ones and do your drills. Stay sharp.
How do you decide whether you're going to be the attacker or sit back and wait for them to make the moves when you're in that situation?
I think a lot of the times it just depends on how often you practice it, right? If you visualize yourself in those situations, sometimes you'll just see those moves and you'll know when to go, right? Listen to your gut. In this case for me, I knew we were up. There was 8 minutes left on the clock, so we had plenty of time, and I didn't think I'd have to sit there for 8 minutes. But I knew there was no rush for me, so you just take a deep breath, right? If you have a coach, listen to your coach if you trust him. Otherwise, just listen to your gut, to your instincts, and then play off what you see.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. Heat won that match. They lost 1-1. Congratulations.
Yeah,
and on the Challenger field, we had Infamous versus Excessive.
What happened?
You want to know what happened?
I want to know. Break it down.
Infamous won 7-4. Excessive was actually only down by a point, 5-4. They were going into that point where they could tie it up, and they got 2 majors.
Come on, Rich.
I know. But they played really hard. Good job to Infamous, who won both matches today. Stay tuned because we have more coming up.
Take you later.
Damn.